So for today's check-in question, we have, what is one of your favorite summer meals? So go ahead and start by introducing yourself. I'll call on everyone one by one. We'll just do name, where you're located, and your affiliation or connection to local foods. And then what is one of your favorite summer meals? So I'm gonna put the question into the chat and I will go ahead and get started. My name is Felicity Merritt. I'm the program manager at Farms and formerly the coordinator for the North Dakota Local Food Development Alliance. And we are looking for a new coordinator. So I'll maybe touch on that later in the meeting, but if you guys do know of anyone. And my favorite summer meal is a good question, but I would just say anything with fresh cherry tomatoes. Those cherry tomatoes are probably one of my favorite foods. So put them on a salad or marinate them or any way that you prepare them. That's probably my favorite summer meal. And next, let's go to holiday.
That's me. I'm Holiday. I'm with USDA Rural Development here in Bismarck. And I like spinach lasagna. I really like that. No meat, just no dead decomposing muscle tissue in my lasagna, but spinach.
Sounds good. Bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bill Davis. I'm located in Mandan, and I'm on Farms Board, and I do some production and sell to the local or to the Bisman Food Co-op. And my favorite summer meal would be grilled walleye with summer greens and tomatoes and cucumber.
Okay. Jill.
Good afternoon, Jill Hawkinson. I'm Community Development Specialist out of Devil's Lake with USDA Rural Development. My favorite meal is for summer, well, it's a little bit later in the summer, but anything that involves fresh sweet corn.
Jan.
Hi, everyone. Jan Stankiewicz with NDSU Extension. I'm in Bismarck, and one of my favorite summer meals would probably be caprese salad, fresh tomatoes, any variety. If I can get some local mozzarella and some fresh basil, I'm set.
Courtney.
Hi, everybody. My name is Courtney Schaff. I'm in summer ag intern with Farms. This is my first time joining. Stephanie encouraged me to hop on. Excited to be here. I'm in Fargo. My favorite summer meal, I like to get a green zucchini and a yellow summer squash, dice them up, saute some onion, and then I really like the barley cereal, and I just kind of pour that on top to finalize it, saute it a little bit, and a nice, easy, light meal with some crunch and nice freshness.
Karen.
Hi, this is Karen Ahrens. I am a board member for the Alliance, and I'm here because I like to eat food grown in North Dakota and help others be able to eat food. And I like a meal in later summer that has sweet corn, fresh tomatoes, and cucumber, and all the things like little bits mix around on your dish when you're eating them.
Okay, Candace.
Hi, I'm Candace Anderson, and I'm in Moorhead, Fargo Moorhead, and I'm with the Red River Harvest Cooperative. This is Jack, my cat. I am the Director of Retail Operations and Site Manager for Red River Harvest, and also working with the grant program in Minnesota. I'm meeting with them regularly, and so getting really tied in with that. So wanted to jump on this call and see what was happening on the North Dakota side. So, and my favorite summer meal. I'm just really excited to have local greens again, so I can have salad regularly. So, thank you.
Yeah.
How much does Jack weigh?
Probably like 12 pounds.
Ah,
A while since he's been in, but he's a big guy.
Okay, Isaac,
Hello, I'm
go ahead.
uh,
Sorry.
I'm Isaac Bronco. I am a grad student at NDSU under Travis Hoffman, and currently I'm in Wamego, Kansas, where I'm from, baling hay for my dad. But just I think my favorite summertime meal is either ribeye steak with some type of salad or grilled lamb chops.
Okay, Christine.
Afternoon, everyone. I am Christine. I'm with the North Dakota Department of Agriculture. I would have to say my favorite food is probably steak fajitas on the grill.
Okay, Mary.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Portal, and I represent USDA NRCS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and also the North Dakota Farmers Market and Growers Association. And so I'm not really picky. I just like food, especially anything I don't have to cook. But right now, my son Jared has yellow beets coming out of the garden, and I just peel them and kind of chunk them, like potatoes, and throw them in the steamer with a little salt and Parmesan cheese, and they are really yummy.
Okay, Craig.
Okay. Let's see. Craig Burns. I'm a social work faculty at the University of North Dakota, and also a board member with Wanawota Food Pantry, and vice chair of NDLFDA. And summer meal, so many. Really like just a cool evening, grill a steak and some sweet potatoes and corn, and good to go.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that is everyone who was able to introduce themselves today. If you weren't able to introduce yourself and you want to quickly introduce yourself in the chat, go ahead. But I think we can move on to the next topic, which we have Isaac joining us to talk a little bit more about his research in local meat development. So let me make sure, Isaac, are you going to be sharing your screen?
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, all right, no problem. That makes my job easier. All right, I think we're good to go. And Isaac, if you need anything else, just let me know.
All right, thank you. Hello, everybody. Like I said earlier, I'm studying under Dr. Hoffman at NDSU, originally from Kansas, doing some work with local meats development and trying to teach producers how to better market themselves to consumers, especially in the local area.
Excuse me.
I don't know what that was, but anyway, no, I just was going to give you guys a progress update on what I'm doing here at NDSU. We have recently, just in 2 weeks ago, gotten Irb approval for a survey that should be released to producers locally in the surrounding states to kind of get an idea of what programs and development and information will be most beneficial to getting them set on the right track. And then also, Travis and I have purchased a smaller scale beef carcass model to teach producers and consumers on that note on where the different cuts of meat on a beef carcass come from, and that if you order ribeyes and rib steaks, that's not going to work out because that's coming from the same area. In addition to that, we are working on getting some stuff set up for presentation at July 8th in Allendale. I will be helping with a colleague's workshop there, teaching consumers how to grill meat properly and teaching them some other stuff. But so far, just working on that, and then also coming up with just materials and deliverables for extension agents to use in the future, past even the point that I'm still at NDSU. Is there any questions or advice even?
I'm gonna put a link into the chat that is the sorry, local meets survey. If you weren't able to take that, and or if you wanted to share that with any other meat producers that you know, anyone in the meeting, feel free. Yep, go ahead.
It'd be greatly appreciated to everybody to at least fill it out or at least take a look, because this is a lot of my research, and a lot of the projects I'm working on hinge on getting this survey out to as many people and as many types of producers as there is. Doesn't matter species or size and scale operation. We just want to know what everybody needs to know about how to utilize different tools, how to work with butcher shops, and how do you even utilize social media to just market yourself better.
I was glad to hear of the purchase of the model for showing where cuts of meat are, because that's a real gap in the skills of a lot of people who prepare food at home. So if you haven't already, I hope you would partner up with NDSU Extension Service, and Jan can talk more about that in their nutrition education efforts and the SNAP nutrition education. And especially at this time, I think in helping consumers know the more economical cuts of beef in this time of inflation when food prices are really high can help on the consumer side of things.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And that's what the Travis and I's plan is, to come up with a workshop and some different presentations that can be utilized in conjunction with that beef model, especially for extension agents to have on hand and to borrow from NDSU.
Yeah, thanks for that, Karen. And then a couple of other things that kind of, I'm just like scrolling through your survey right now. Lots of questions that come up around SNAP usage while purchasing like larger sections of livestock. So if a CSA or something like that could be SNAP eligible, some questions like that come up, and some of our meat producers in the area do have CSAs.
Right.
And, you know, the logistics of getting SNAP authorized around that and all of the, and online purchasing and all of that. But then I think, yeah, the model and the information around, like if somebody would get a quarter of a beef or something and what that looks like for SNAP audiences would be useful. Yeah,
no, that's something I'll have to develop. I hadn't really even thought about that yet, but that's a good point you make. That'll be something I'll need to explore, and probably even come up with a separate presentation / information packet on how to apply for that and how to set that up so you can utilize the SNAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the farmers markets up in the northern part of the state, I think it was the summer of 2020, they had a significant increase in their SNAP transactions, and most of it went to meat producers. So lots of the SNAP participants at the farmers market were purchasing like a quarter of a beef to, so those transactions happening at the farmers markets were a good thing.
Yeah.
I think now would also be a good time if anyone knows of any meat production or processing projects that are happening around the state, just to share that. Isaac, you may or may not be aware of, you know, some of them, but if I believe the Department of Ag was working on grants for local processors. Christine, you can correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Rural development also has some that we've been doing. The meat and poultry processing expansion program was one that we had dollars out there to assist those local, those involved in the local processing and smaller scale livestock production. And then right now we have one open to the meat and poultry intermediary relending program, where we're working with lenders to set up a grant program, which is a revolving loan that they can use for working with those involved. And you might be aware of that, Isaac, but just sharing that with you.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
that's
Jill. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
go ahead, Holiday.
If we knew who applied for that grant, the meat and poultry processing expansion grant,
Yep.
is that something we could share? Could we share the names of those or not?
I'm not sure if they've been officially released yet, but I know there were some applicants that that did submit applications in North Dakota here. That'd probably be a Denise Sundin question, Holiday.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to say that. I do know the names, but I wouldn't want to say them until it's official.
yeah, I'm afraid to say too. I don't want to get into trouble, but yeah.
But yeah,
There
we've
is.
had some across the state, and I think we're going to have some success in funding some of those
Yes.
projects. And we do have interest right now. That is actually closed. That application process is closed, but the intermediary relending program is open until July 25th. So I have had some lenders with interest, and I know Denise's staff is working with some interested lenders too, who are looking to set something up there.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you.
opportunities for anybody in the meat and poultry industry right now that wants to get going on the smaller scale. Lots of money's through USDA and other federal entities.
I've had several tribal organizations that have expressed interest in, meat and poultry processing. So I'm just not sure what I'm allowed to say. Maybe Bill could help me. Bill was our state director.
Isaac, I was going to ask you too, how are you getting your survey out to the local, like across the state of North Dakota to livestock producers that are involved in like their own value added selling?
So currently with just the survey, we've been distributing it through livestock producer organizations, especially the ones I've reached out to are North Dakota Livestock Alliance Summit, the Pork Association, trying to run through them all in my head. And I've tried to reach through the ones in Minnesota too, just trying to get a wide group of different types of species and stuff and different sizes of operations. And so I've reached out to, like I said, the pork, livestock, beef, and both lamb growers associations in each state. And then also have distributed it through a couple different avenues with different producer organizations that I have had interactions with.
Sounds great. It's good. It sounds like you're getting the word out pretty well.
Yep, I'm doing my best. Still getting familiarized with North Dakota itself. I moved up here in August, and I'm getting there, but it's taken me a little while.
I just added some stuff in the chat here about what you were asking about, Felicity. Right now, we unfortunately aren't offering any grants that specialize in that. We did get some money over COVID, and that went to the meat processing plant cost share program. But all the applications for that closed in 2020, so we're done with that one. But APUC through our office is always an excellent opportunity, and we always offer that. So yearly, we just gave out awards, I think this past month actually. But I can put Brad's contact info in the chat and stuff like that if anybody wants to learn more about APUC. I also put the our website info on there too. But Yeah, unfortunately, lots of federal money, no state money at this time, though.
Isaac, you might have mentioned this, but there's the IBAND, the Independent Beef Association of North Dakota, and then also the Grazing Lands Coalition North Dakota. Could be two groups that would kind of help spread the survey out as well.
Okay, yep, I can get them added and sent out too.
Does anyone on the call who has who raises or produces meat have any thing that they would like to share about? And I mean, we have the survey as well to kind of capture those, but
Felicity, thanks for Travis Hoffman letting me join. I was on previously on the phone and in between a couple, but Isaac did a good job there of summarizing a couple of things that he had in terms of the ideas. And then feel free, you know, as you guys kind of brainstorm. And I know when initially I talked about, you know, being on this or having Isaac, is that we have a resource as well. And Isaac's, you know, an NDSU graduate student, and so now, if there's some additional brainstorms that we get from our group, I will willingly be the transitionary person, right, Isaac, to provide assignment to help. And so, again, we have another resource to the team, or hopefully we can think of it that way.
yeah, and Isaac, I really appreciate you coming in and talking to everyone. It sounds like you guys are still at the kind of the beginning of this, so I'm glad that we were able to have you join and hopefully make some new connections as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Sorry I kept it a little short and sweet. I will hopefully have a little bit more in-depth on what's going on next meeting. But right now we're just in the process of getting everything started and off the ground.
Okay. All right. Well, if anyone has thoughts, if you are willing, Isaac, or maybe Travis, whoever is the best contact, to put an email into the chat just for whatever the preferred email is for anyone who might have thoughts or connections that they want to share outside the meeting.
Yep, I will get mine sent out in it. And then you can always email both Travis and I so we both get it.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Was there any last comments before we move on? Okay. So next up on the agenda, we have Jan, who's going to be talking a little bit about the, I'm not sure what it is, project that we are a part of. And so maybe I will leave it to you, Jan, to best describe.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Felicity. So ND-LFDA, one of the organization's local foods across the state, has volunteered to kind of be a part of this community of practice, or like a planning committee for what is called the North Central region, which includes states like, you know, all of the areas in the nation, depending on what organization you're in. So North Central includes like North Dakota and South Dakota are the most westerly states, and it goes all the way over to Michigan. It might include like Illinois, Ohio, and some of those other Midwestern states, Wisconsin. I'm not sure for how far south, like I don't think it goes down into Kansas or anything, but so those group of states are kind of in the process of building capacity for statewide and or regional food system plans. So looking at a comprehensive food system plan for the state of North Dakota. And so that whole that group is working to help each of those states, for one thing, gather information on how close or far away they are of having a statewide food system plan. And then I think then the ultimate goal would be to get states who need it either further along or equipped to have something in place. And so Stephanie's been really good about having what was developed, several years ago with Chuck and Bill. And so all of that stuff, Stephanie's doing a good job of kind of keeping tabs on that and aggregating information. So what's involved in this project is there will be some planning committees meetings that will be attended by either Stephanie, Ann Olson with Strengthen ND is an alternate member, and I am also an alternate member. So a couple of different organizations in the state being able to serve on the planning committee. And then it will likely lead to some smaller group workshop types of things. And then maybe some broader workshops where alliance members and or partner networks might be asked to attend. The audience for this sort of work isn't necessarily farmers and producers, but the organizations and community partners that those farmers are in contact with, or state agencies and that sort of thing. So it's been a little bit interesting in figuring out what exactly this group is going to be doing and how it's going to be done, but they're kind of getting their feet underneath of them and getting a few things figured out. So I think I think the project will run through 2023. And so it's basically just to let you all know that that is happening. Those planning committees, it's more of like exploratory stuff, figuring out what to do and how to get there. And that ND LFDA is involved in the process. And you might be able to expect some further updates or information seeking and maybe attendance at some of these workshops and meetings and such. So if you have questions, you can ask Stephanie. And I would be, happy to entertain some lighter, easier questions right now, but just stay tuned for more information.
Jan, do you know like how long this project is like running? What the kind of
yeah, I don't know the actual start date, but we've gotten information that the planning pieces will go through 2023.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's all I got, Felicity. Thank you.
Okay. All right, and there are links in the chat to the or links in the agenda to this to read up more if you're interested about the other organizations that are a part of it. If you want to learn more, you can read about that on their website. Let's see, moving on. We are going through all of our agenda today. So maybe I'll go ahead and share my screen. We can talk about just a few months ago now, maybe. At this point, we held a strategic planning session. And after that, we have been working on revising our mission statement and hoping that that will lead into kind of a renewed goal and vision for the future of the organization. So Stephanie has been doing a lot of work with Ellen as well to revise our mission statement, and I will go ahead and share my screen, because I know that that is here in the agenda, and just kind of open it up for thoughts or discussion on this if anyone has feedback. And I will zoom in here so that we can see it right here. So the mission statement as we have it right now, this draft is NDLFDA brings together local food advocates, producers, and consumers to co-create resilient local food systems, supporting equitable, healthy communities. And you can see the last change was to use the word supporting in place of resulting in. So just a chance for any thoughts that you guys have on it. Okay, well, I'm going to take that as a good sign that it's looking pretty good. If you do have thoughts, again, feel free to send them out after the meeting or comment or send an email or whatever is the best method for you. And move on. Actually, well, while we're here, I can just move on to the next topic, which is an update on the Vista position that we have for an AmeriCorps coordinator position. So we have kind of worked to rework the position and make it a little more attractive to applicants. And I've been working with the farm's communications coordinator to get a new position description up. I don't have it ready yet, but I'll be emailing it out to probably all of you here in the next week or so. It is a full-time position, but it can be between 32 up to 40 hours per week. And if the applicant is interested, they could have a second job or a second position. So it can be done quite flexibly. It's fully remote, so you can work from home, you can work odd hours, whatever works for you. And we have been really working to bulk up the benefits associated with it. So since it's an AmeriCorps position, we can't alter the pay at all, but there's a relocation assistance if someone from out of state wants to move to North Dakota. There's a $300 a month housing stipend that goes applied directly to your management or rental company. We will work to help connect you with other local food organizations. Farms has positions open if the applicant is interested in doing any additional wanting to put in some additional hours. There is a health insurance package that's part of that as well. So we have really been working to make it a more attractive position and working hard so that people, whoever the applicant is, would have those connections with the local food community. So I'll be advertising that here in the next couple weeks. So like I said, you'll be getting emails from asking you to share that out as well. And if you know of anyone, I would really appreciate you sending them my way. Okay. I see Travis had a comment about the mission statement, supporting and feeding. Yes, that is a good point, and we can bring that one back to Stephanie and Ellen as well. All right. Well, I guess we have member updates on the last part of the agenda, but Craig, is there anything I skipped over?
No, you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. And, world record meeting time. So, so well done. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I will open it up for member updates here. If anyone has anything they'd like to share, and then maybe I'll quickly walk through the member update page on our website. But before then, any updates, events, requests?
Felicity, I had trouble getting onto the updates page but I am going to put in the chat here the link for our meat and poultry intermediary relending program. If you know, and if anybody knows any entities out there that would want to get involved in that and become a lender, you know, please share. It doesn't just have to be banks. I mean, it can be any type of private nonprofit or public agency. Tribes are eligible to apply, cooperatives, things like that. So I'll throw that in the chat here.
This is Karen, and I'm placing a link in the chat, and I hope to get it into the updates as well. Just that there's an opportunity now to provide input into formation of what will happen at the White House Conference on Hunger, Nutrition, and Health in September. So this conference is being billed as a kickoff to continuing action around increasing people's access to food, reducing hunger, increasing the nutritional value of the foods that are available to all of us. And listening sessions are being held by the White House, and different organizations across the nation and states are holding their own listening sessions to gather input. People who have lived experience with hunger are strongly encouraged to submit their experiences. Also, people to share what's been working. And I think it's a really good idea if we can share perspectives and insights from rural America. So right now, I think those White House listening sessions are coming to an end, but there's an opportunity to submit via a form on the link that I will share with you. So I encourage people to share ideas, experiences, feedback into forming how our nation moves forward to meet people's food needs.
Okay, well, I read through, I don't know if we posted this on the member update page either, but Karen, Stephanie, and I recently wrote an article about the Local Food Alliance for the North Dakota Compass, and I will share that here. So we talked just a little bit about the history of the association and the future of the association as well. So the link is here, and it's could be a good thing to share as we are talking about what our association is, and we're trying to grow membership and awareness. So I'll put the link to this in the chat as well. But thank you to Karen, who did a lot of work on writing and editing this, and then Stephanie as well. And we worked together to write a little bit about not only our history, but why local food is important and what we are doing to help grow the local food movement in North Dakota. So I encourage you guys to give that a read, and I'll put the link here and share it out if you would like to on any of your to your networks. Okay. And let me think what else is going on. From the farm side, we're doing Coffee O'Clock, which is a new monthly meeting that we started last month, and we are doing it just as kind of a casual way to come chat. Each month has a different topic, and maybe a couple discussion questions, but it's pretty laid back, just a place for farmers and producers to come talk about what they are working on this summer, what they are dreaming of this summer, and being able to share and swap tips. So these will be on the last Wednesday of every month. And so our next one is going to be June 29th, and they're always at noon Central Time. So noon on the last Wednesday of every month. It's an hour long, and it's just an open invitation for anyone who'd like to come. You don't have to come every month, just whenever it works. And we're hoping that this will kind of just become one of our ongoing programs at farms. Registration is required, and so when you sign up, you'll get an invite to the reoccurring meeting, so it shows up on your calendar. Yeah, we had our first one, and we are hoping to just continue growing this program. And if you have ideas of what you would like us to chat about, go ahead and let me know, and we can work that into one of the topics. Okay, that in here, and that is everything I have.
Yeah, I don't think there's a rule says we have to go the full hour, Felicity, so.
All right. Well, this is, like, say, unprecedented that we go shorter instead of longer.
I've been sitting here debating whether I should raise this, but it's a matter of concern in my mind, and I'm not quite sure what the impact is going to be long term, but I've been watching the drought down in the Southwest, which has been a growing concern with Lake Powell and Lake Mead and Colorado River drying up, and some 40 million people depending on that, not only for agricultural production, but also for hydroelectric power. And we're very fortunate here in North Dakota. We've received a good measure of rain. We've been very blessed that way, and it looks like our agriculture will do well here, but I'm very concerned about the agriculture down in states like Southern California and Arizona and New Mexico and Utah and Colorado and Wyoming and Nevada. They are taking the brunt of this drought, and they say the drought is the worst in 1,200 years. And the forecasts aren't very positive. I'm not quite sure what all of this will lead to, but it's a matter that I have been watching and wondering about.
Yep, I think it's another reason yet to encourage more people to grow food close to their home, that we have a diversity of resources and sources of food, because thank goodness our drought situation, like I think they cleared the drought map now of declarations of official drought in our state for now. So it's, I think for me, the importance, and then compounded on that with the situation in Ukraine, impacting food sources for people, not only in that region, but around the world, often in some of the most resource challenged countries in our world, that food's important, and growing food is important, and us all helping one another share how to access food will just become more important in these years.
I read recently that what the crop that uses the most water in the state of California is actually salad greens, like it's lettuce. And I always like, we hear a lot about, almond groves and a lot of these plants that we can't really feasibly grow in North Dakota, but I was like, the number one crop using the most water is something that we can grow in our backyards. Like, it's actually really easy to grow, on a balcony, in a pot, whatever it is. So I think that raising awareness around that too, we don't need to be as reliant, on some of these things that we really can grow here. I think there's this idea that certain types of crops need to be grown in certain places, and that's not necessarily always true. So I think, like you were saying, Karen, continuing to try and source locally whenever possible. Okay, well.
Sorry, one last thing on that, Felicity, too, is I put a link in. Vertical Harvest Farms is a hydroponic farm in Jackson, Wyoming. Yeah, Jackson, Wyoming. And it's worth checking out. They have a very large hydroponic system, and they're able to grow, because I was on a call with the founders, and I think they said they have a 30-day growing season up there. And so they're able to produce year round with this and provide employment opportunities for people with disabilities and so on. But I mean, I guess if they could do it there, can we do it here? And they're breaking ground on one in Maine and another one, I think, in Pennsylvania. So it's a model worth looking at, and it's not a nonprofit. So it doesn't fall under the desperately seeking funding model that many nonprofits have to fall into. So, so there's models out there too that we could look into.
And oh, go ahead, Candace.
I was just going to say, that was one of the questions we had when we created the co-op was how many months of the year can we sell only local products? And like, it was just in doing it that we're like, oh, we can do it all year long. Cool. So a lot of meat this winter and potatoes and onions, and waiting for the big produce push right now. But yeah, that was really exciting to see and to put into practice. And it is possible, right? And folks are out there extending their growing seasons and finding ways to do that here. And I love that that there is a lot of opportunity to really to make a local food system work. So I'm grateful to be here with all of you.
Yeah, and I think that we see a lot of farmers who are, putting up high tunnels, and people who are planning to start up hydroponic and aquaponic systems. And I think our role here is to try and connect them with the resources. So whether that is a grant, through one of the USDA agencies, or connecting them with funding through the Department of Ag, and making sure that when people are interested in starting something like this, we can be there to support them and make sure they have the resources to succeed. A positive outlook on a scary problem. It's a heavy problem, and like Karen talked about, it's compounding with other things that happen in the world. And it can be, coming out of COVID, I think we all saw how fragile our food system is. So we can keep being reminded of how important it is to source as close to home as you can. Okay, well, maybe I'll make a call for last comments and then we'll see. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting, but thank you all for joining today. And it was great to see everyone. I saw a couple of people I haven't seen in a while, so good to see you.
Already.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Felicity.
you,
Have a
everyone.
good
Thank you,
day.
Felicity.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Catch you all
Bye.
later.